Republicans, and particularly the now president, being a fascist, which I think is incredibly irresponsible rhetoric. Kamala Harris believes in democracy. Donald Trump does not. What's left to say? If you're confirmed for this, you're going to serve under him effectively.
Josh Hawley confronted a Trump administration nominee over past anti-Trump statements, including calling Trump a fascist, and then asked, why did you want to serve in an administration led by the man you attacked? Guys, you can't make this up.
Are you willing to commit to me today that if confirmed, you will work to get rural post offices, all post offices, but it's particularly acute in our rural areas that have been put out of service? Will you commit to me to working to get those reopened on a timely basis? You think about this community. This is a small community. They have been without mail, essentially. They got to go drive somewhere far. They've been without mail for over a year. A year.
In America.
I mean, that's, frankly, I think it's ridiculous. It's so bad.
It is.
I've introduced legislation that would create a statutory requirement to rebuild these post offices in a timely fashion. So let me just ask you, and after that I have one more question, let me just ask you if you're willing to commit to working on this and to making sure we get these post offices reopened when they are damaged. We'll start with you, Congresswoman, we'll go down the line.
In Florida, we also have some extreme weather issues to deal with. So yes, if confirmed, I would commit to getting these post offices reopened as soon as possible.
I'd commit to that as well.
I would commit to that as well.
Okay, thank you. Last thing, Mr. Chairman. Congresswoman, let me just ask you about a little bit of your rhetoric that I'll be honest with you, I find a little bit worrisome, and give you a chance to address it. Because this is a nonpartisan position for which you are being nominated, and I realize you've been in partisan politics, and that's fine. I'm in partisan politics, but that's not this position. So let me just ask you about a thing or two that you've said that I find a little worrisome. Let's start with the democracy one.
The democracy.
We heard a lot of talk in this most recent election now concluded about Republicans, and particularly the now president, being a fascist, which I think is incredibly irresponsible rhetoric. You said things like that, I think, Congresswoman. Kamala Harris believes in democracy. Donald Trump does not. What's left to say? That's just from a little over a month ago, 2 months ago, September 10th. Do you want to address that? Just give me your perspective. Give us your perspective for the record about how you see this role, about this rhetoric. Let me just give you a chance to respond. There's one more I want to ask you about after this.
And I thank you for that, Senator Hawley. You know, having served as a law enforcement officer, as a police chief, certainly as a member of Congress, I've certainly had opinions about the behavior of individuals on both sides of the aisle.
I doubt that.
But what I can assure you is that whether as a law enforcement officer or as a member of Congress or as a member of the Board of Governors, that my political opinions will never negatively impact the work that is before us on this very bipartisan board. Matter of fact, I currently travel all over the country, asked to do so, along with former Republican members, to talk about the importance of working together in a bipartisan way. I believe it is the only way that we can get the big things done. And strengthening the post office is a big thing that we need to get done.
Hey guys, really quickly, it's definitely a lot more than a post office, specifically in like some of these rural areas. Healthcare is terrible, bro. A good amount of them are absolutely health food deserts, education deserts. A good amount of these rural areas are definitely underserved, but because they have no real political power, no one really cares about them. That's generally how that consistently works, at least in Washington. This is why it's very important to make sure that you are taking care of all Americans, specifically all tax-paying Americans, rather than whatever, lump sum that has been created, let's say, specifically on our East Coast and West Coast, guys.
Question for you on the same topic. Let's look at the other one. This is about the current president's ability, constitutional right to serve. You said after the Civil War, we ratified the 14th Amendment. It says people try to overthrow the government should be banned. Donald Trump tried to overthrow the government. This was in reference to the cases that tried to get the former president, now future president, kicked off the ballot. I'm deeply concerned about those cases. They failed, as you know. The U.S. Supreme Court weighed in on this 9-0, said absolutely not. This is up to the people to decide. My question for you is that since this time, since you said that, he's been reelected. He's going to be the next president. If you're confirmed for this, you're going to serve under him effectively. Are you able to do that? And just comment on this, which you said, and your potential future role.
Senator Hawley, when President Trump was first elected in 2016, he was not my candidate. but I went to his inauguration because the American people had spoken. And I wanted to, in a very unified way, be there to support the President of the United States because the people had spoken. I believed it was a free and fair election, and it was important for the country to move forward. I was in the House chambers on January 6th. As you well remember, it was a tough time for our nation, I think, for the members of Congress and the American people. Expressing my opinion coming out of that very tough time, we moved forward. The same person has been reelected. The American people have spoken, and I respect the will of the people. Again, I can assure you that any personal opinions or things that were said during a specific time in our history will not negatively impact my commitment to working with the Board of Governors to protect and strengthen the United States Postal Service so those people who live in rural areas that we both care about can receive the service that they deserve.
Understand the glaring levels of contradictions that generally happen when people are speaking in this manner here. All right. Like, we need to hold people accountable to the words that they're basically using, if that is going to be the metric that we're judging someone's overall intentions by. If someone was coming from a completely different ideology, they were running for a position, but they had once done or been a part of something specifically that was reprehensible or that would be considered, I don't know, not politically correct in this modern day and age here, that person would be basically crucified. You know it like I know it. Just playing the devil's advocate here. Your words meant something when you said it. And guys, and understand, they're coming from specifically the angle of cancel culture, almost majority, right? So I'm confused here. It's either people's past no longer matters, so you can't, I guess, cancel them from society, or they matter and you can't cancel them from society. Does that make any sense? Do you see where I'm going with this here, guys? Because that's how, whenever you guys send me these videos here, kind of regardless of whenever they've taken place here in our history, this one does not seem like a new one here, right? But just watching this and watching through this hearing is just indicative of how Washington works in the first place here. Imagine the amount of people that have once said something absolutely crazy about the person that they're working for. I think that's a pretty consistent thing, but I do think personally that should not be allowed. All right. Because again, the intentions matter. And also a good amount of the people that are basically in promotion of kind of left-wing ideology, they all kind of have once espoused something super similar to how Republicans are speaking today. But the DSA and overall socialist TikTokers basically have invaded the Democrat Party to the point where they can no longer even speak in a logical, common sense type of manner. And they just toe the line for the sole purpose of votes here. Most of the older Democrats believe none of the stuff that's coming out of their mouth. They're just trying to maintain their position. That's it here. And that's why I would never vote for them. Because if you're that weak to be in a position of power and you still have decided that you're no longer going to say whatever is on your mind, so you don't offend some random Gen Z TikToker, guys, come on, bro. That's weakness to me, bro. I'm sorry. It's just weak. Listen, you said it, stand on it. Go to the interview saying the exact same things, and when you don't get the job, knowing that you're not going to get the job, understand that's accountability coming right back at you, guys. All right? Listen, you guys have an absolutely amazing day. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. And in the meantime, guys, I'll go and catch you guys later.